Happy Saturday night. Sorry for all the extra wax in my teeth. I had to go and do an emergency orthodontic thing tonight. That's why I had to push back my live a couple of hours. It was crazy. I won't bore you with the details. I wanted just to come on live and talk about a couple of things that are really pressing at the moment. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. All my videos are made for YouTube and it's an infotainment platform. So, Mookie, do you have anything to say for yourself, my sweetie pie? My little love bug. My little Chiweenie dog. Is she so silly? That heart on her forehead. I always gotta let people know that I don't really color it in with black Sharpie, but I always joke that I do every time, because look at that, it's the most perfect black heart. Okay, girl, you can go cuddle over there with the big cat. Yeah, Mookie is like half the size of that big cat that's there next to the dog bed. So, Granny Annie, hello from Vegas. How are you, my dear? Where's my purse? I need, man, what a day with the, everything was fine. It was a normal day. And then I think it was about 6:30 that this like wire popped out in the back of my mouth. And then one thing after another, I was able to get one of the orthodontist assistants to meet with me for my first and hopefully only emergency appointment. And she fixed me right up. So there's my chapstick. Okay. How are you, my dear? How's your night going? How's your weekend going? So there's just so much crazy stuff going on. I try to keep a focus, and it is really hard when there's just the zone is flooded. I'll do a little ad for Burt's Bees. Burt's Bees, send me money. No, I'm just kidding. They do have good products, though, huh? Okay, so I got my phone. I got my notes. I got my smoothie and my water. Where did they go, though? I had them. Oh, they're right here. Okay. Just off screen. That's why I couldn't see them. And I have a candle burning, too, so it smells really good. And it's a little bit late. So I apologize in advance if my brain stops working. My electric cool scooter got a flat. Ubered home from gym and drove back to fetch it. Aw. I'm glad you had all of your resources available. Yeah, flat tires are the worst, huh? It reminds me of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So you got a flat. How about that? You've seen it, haven't you, Granny Annie? You know, it's the 50-year anniversary, so I had to go see it in the theater a few weeks ago. It was so much fun. And that's one of my favorite lines. You got a flat. How about that? And for anybody who doesn't know, the flat tire is what kicked off. Oh my goodness, you still haven't seen it? You're going to freaking love it. The music is spectacular. Absolutely so far ahead of its time. 50 years. And a lot of people don't know that it was a play, very successful in London. And so a team of movie producers from LA went there to London to film it. They brought the lead actors with them. They brought Susan Sarandon to play Janet. And then I always forget the man's name who plays Brad, but he's just as talented. He's amazing. And then, of course, Tim Curry and Meatloaf is in it. Anyway, the entire cast was the London cast from the play, except for the two leads. So they pushed them out of the way, which created a very acrimonious workplace. And they started and finished filming 6 weeks from start to finish. But that's one of the reasons why the set is so like low budget, is because it's actually the theater set. They didn't change it for the movie. They just used what they used at the theater. But it's really all about the music and Transylvania, and it really ties in with like the CLUTs and the kinds of stuff that the Royals have been doing for entertainment for as long as there's been Royals. Basically chasing people around their homes, small people, underage people, and letting them be scared to death to release all the adrenochrome, and then the rest of it. And then partaking in some long pig feasting and some essay, and that's what it's about. It's like it's a true story, but us Americans for 50 years, none of us got it. We all thought, oh, what a cute, funny, silly story. It's like, no, this is what they do for fun. Not cute, not funny. But yeah, let's laugh it off and pretend that it's all just make-believe. So Janet and Brad get a flat tire. They stop by the Haunted Mansion to use a phone because, it's like 1975. And then they end up spending the night there and getting assaulted by Tim Curry. And it's a hoot, but you have to be ready for a lot of explicit gender bending type of stuff if you're down with that. The music is top notch. But the best part, and then I'll move on, is, and this might be a spoiler alert, but not really, watch the guy that looks like at the very beginning at the church at the wedding. He's in the like pitchfork and shovel or whatever what is that old classic painting with the married couple and the pitchfork and the other gardening tool or a farming tool. The guy with the long stringy hair who looks a lot like Stephen Miller or Squidward, and he looks like death warmed over. That guy is the butler. So some people don't catch it at the beginning that he's at the church, and then he's the butler that answers the door. And his name is Riff Raff, and he's the one who wrote the entire movie and all the musical scores. So he's freaking brilliant, and he's really creepy in the movie. I had midnight curfew until I moved out. Preggers with twins at 18. I showed them curfew doesn't matter. Good for you, Granny Annie. You're so awesome. You're hilarious. Yeah. But sometimes don't we cut off our noses to spite our faces, right? So man, it has been a day of news, has it not? Do you want to tell me what news you've been focused on? Because I've been focused on a few things, but real quick, I want to just text one of my mods. There's a couple of them that like to know. I don't text all of them. I figure I don't want to put any pressure on them. If they're available and feel like it, then cool. And if they're not, that's cool too. Anyway, I used to send out a little text to all of them before I came on. And then I quit doing it altogether. But now I try to do it for at least one or two. And focused on no more flat tires. That's a good one. That's a very good one. I got another 2-hour walk in today. It's been really nice here. It's been like 50 degrees, beautiful fall days. And I figure I need to get all of the hiking in that I can before it gets a lot colder. And I'm not so excited about it. Also been out trying to ride my bike, enjoying the fall air. I love the smell of fall. So, have you ever heard of St. Louis gooey butter cakes? I'm going to look that up. St. Louis gooey butter cakes. I never heard of them, but I heard somebody talking about that that's what they make their friends and family for Christmas presents. Yeah, they look good. Oh my God, and super expensive. I wonder if they sell them at Costco. OMG. So a regular cake size, like, 3-tiered St. Louis gooey butter cake sells for $110 from Gold Belly. And then you can get mini original gooey butter cakes, half a dozen of them for $50 from Gold Belly. Etsy's got them. I wanted to basically find a recipe and figure out how to do it. Oh my God, they look so good. So yeah, kind of like what I call blondies instead of brownies. Have you guys had them? Honestly, I've never even heard of them. But I heard somebody talking about it. I wrote it down and I'm like, I'm going to check that out. Ingredients. Can you guys hear the music that my daughter's playing? Because if you can, I can have her turn it down. We got flour, butter, sugar, eggs, yeast, and corn syrup. It's all you need, basically, is butter and sugar and then stuff to hold the butter and the sugar together, right? But I would think that there'd be a little bit of like vanilla or something. I'm sure there's different recipes. Yeah, it's not telling me all of the gooey butter cake from scratch. And then you can do chocolate gooey butter cake, pumpkin gooey butter cake, gooey butter cookies, Philly butter cake, butter cake coffee bars. Oh, stop. It's not going to just give me the list of the ingredients because that would be too easy. It's going to try to make me go into their thing and give them my email and all that. Never heard of them. Sounds good. Like Cinnabons. Hey, Annabees. Nice to see you, my dear. Dang it, still don't have my correct handle. I'm thinking that it's something with my device. And like I've mentioned the last couple of days, I think that my phone is really bogged down. And maybe that's doing it. Because I've been having trouble, like I made those shorts yesterday. I made a couple of shorts that one of them I thought was really good. I was going to play it for you guys yesterday and then I forgot. And I can't I can send the link and I could post the link on my, where did I post it? On my community tab and in the description, but it's not showing up in my shorts. And so I think it's just because I think my system's all bogged down on my phone. And let's see if I can get to the short because I think it's cute. I mean, I don't do a lot of shorts. Oh my goodness. And did you see 5 hours ago, I posted this photograph of our president? Annie, have you seen this photograph? My friend sent me this. This is our president. If you want to see a better image of it. Sorry. There you go. When I first saw it, before I got zoomed in, I thought it was Jeffrey Epstein with all that hair. That's DJT. I don't know what the year is, but it says it's Snopes, and it says this is a decades-old photo of Mr. Piggy in a robe laying across a bed, and it's real. So sexy. Too sexy for his shirts, huh? The hair is insane. It's dark. It's almost like a burgundy color. And then It's long. Ooh, and look at the long legs. They look super long the way the phone is angled. I have to angle it so that it doesn't catch all that glare. That's our freaking president. Sorry, I dropped the F-bomb, but I'm 15 minutes in. It's okay. It's really bad if you do those things in your first 7 minutes. Anyway, so let me see if I can show you. He held titles of assistant to the president and senior policy advisor and the White House director of speech writing. So 3 positions. Assistant to the president. Does that mean he massaged his feet and did all the things Virginia Giuffre did for little E? I bet it does. Is it? Okay, so this is about Stephen Miller. I'll let it loop around and play again. His nickname, Bubba. That was the punchline. He held titles of assistant. Here, I screwed it up by pausing it right before the punchline. Let's see if we can do this again from start to finish. He held titles of assistant to the president and senior policy advisor and the White House director of speech writing. So 3 positions. Assistant to the president. Does that mean he massaged his feet and did all the things Virginia Giuffre did for little E? I bet it does. Is his nickname Bubba? He held titles of So that's just a little clip from the live the day before yesterday. I think it's 29 minutes. And like I said, it's not showing up in my shorts, but I have a link to it in my community tab if you want to watch it. Or if you want to share it, please share it. It's a good way to introduce people to the channels with a nice little short like that. I cannot hear it. Oh, you couldn't hear it on the one that I sent you? I had another friend say that too. Weird. LOL made shorts. LOL, I thought you sewed. That's adorable. Yeah. I mean, making shorts is actually pretty easy, but I always skip it, and I should do it more. It's fun too, but it's also better if your device is working and it actually will post them as shorts. And so the last time I made a short was the one that got basically deleted. And it wasn't that there was any technical difficulty from my end, because you try to watch it and it says this video is no longer available. It was taken down by the powers that be because it was talking about Mr. Piggy when he said somebody really powerful like me when he was in Texas a week after the floods that killed all those little girls at the Camp Mystic. And he was being interviewed by Fox News. And it was like the worst point in the entire interview. And so I made a short of it from my own video, and it got taken down. But you know what? I'm going to try to remake it. I was thinking about that. Billy, darling, hello. I apologize for the handles not being correct, but Granny Annie, your handle is correct, right? You give members only a new direction. Lovely to see you all. No, I was talking about your daughter's music. Oh, okay, good. Thanks, Annabise. I thought you meant the short when I sent it to you. Yeah, I can barely hear it, so good to know that it's not bothering the sound system. So Mookie's on the bed, and then we got Mittens right behind the dog bed. And because Mookie's in the foreground, they kind of look like they're the same size. But Mookie is probably less than 10 pounds, and Mittens is almost 20 pounds. So Mittens is literally twice the size as of Mookie. And Mittens is also twice the size of his sister, who is about the size of Mookie. And we got them both at the same time when they were tiny. We adopted them. Mittens was just like a smidge bigger, a scotch. very, very close in weight. Like, I think it was like 3.1 pounds and 3.2 pounds or something like that. They were teeny tiny. And Mittens took off like from jump. And the little girl has just always been like a little waif. So Mittens is like a sumo wrestler, like twice the size of his sister. It's hilarious. And they have like the same genes and the same diet, the same exercise, all that. Or not same genes, but same genetic pool. I guess they could have different fathers, but they look alike. Did you hear that the Department of Education decided that nursing is not a profession? Either is teaching. Yeah, Anna. I mean, that whole thing is such a conundrum of stupidity. And like, what the heck is it if it's not a profession? Give me a break. I mean, they're just trying to take away the loan money. And, basically they're just trying to steal more money. That's been really obvious to me from the beginning with the Department of Education and K through 12 nationwide. But it just dawned on me the other day, like that's why they're attacking universities too, so that they can try to keep all the federal funding that usually goes to the universities. They're basically just trying to cut them all off, like by saying, oh, you're being racist, or you're being this, or you're being that. We're keeping our money. Just so they have more money to steal, because there's never enough. But yeah, I would imagine that it's going to backfire. I mean, I can't imagine things are going to be going on much longer. I think that, it just keeps getting worse and worse, and something's got to give. Like yesterday with Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning, or stating that she was resigning this coming January 5th. Like that was really an FU to Mr. Piggy, I think, and really kind of punctuating the end of his term, potentially. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing is you really never know how these things are going to play out, because there's the court of public opinion, and you can't predict the court of public opinion. Like sometimes the public freaks out about the littlest thing, and then other times the public just lets something huge slide. So, like, I mean, the thing with Jimmy Kimmel, people totally flipped out over. And then the thing with the insurrection, not so much. I never took off. 5'4" was my mad 5'3" now. But chiropractors are, we'll see, because more men are chiropractors and they're doctors. See, my daughter is in occupational therapy, and that was on the list of being called not a profession. And man, occupational therapists are so important and specific. I think physical therapy was even taken off the list of professions. I mean, it's atrocious. It's absolutely atrocious. Department of Education is Department of switching kids to anything but who they were born as. Well, I don't want to like try to create a joke and take credit for it, because I got it from Reese Waters, who I highly recommend if you guys don't know his channel yet. That man is hilarious and cute as a bug's ear. Absolutely adorable. He says, well, I guess that's why they need all that A1 steak sauce in education, is because people aren't getting it, right? Remember when Linda McMahon spoke for like an hour or more at some event, and she thought that the AI was A1, and she just kept talking about A1. Like, why did nobody help her out? Why did no one like clue her in? It's weird. Like, you would think she would have assistants that could tell her, and maybe they tried and she wasn't listening. Who knows? 2 of my grandsons quit high school, California, asking them no more than once if they want help being who they are. Girls, I'm so confused. 2 of my grandsons quit high school, California, asking them more than once if they want help being who they are. Girls. I don't know what that means, but I'm thinking something about all the transgender stuff, which is completely insane. I mean, you send little Timmy off to school, they chop off his wing and they send him home as a girl. Happens to all of us. Didn't happen with my sons or daughters. I mean, so I don't have to pay back my student loans now then? Okay. Right. So that you can't get student loans. And yeah. I mean, Joe Biden did all that student loan forgiveness. And I think that President Piggy was going to try to be reversing that too. So people who had their loans forgiven will have them unforgiven. But I don't know. I mean, he says a lot of stuff. He doesn't follow through on a lot. I was an escrow officer when I fell on stairs at work. Can't sit long. Had feet on desk, keyboard in lap, laying on a heating pad. Work comp reform decided. Escrow officer said 3% of back is job. Yeah, that's a good profession to be in, escrow officer. If it's not a profession, then why don't I want to pay off my student loans? Then I don't want to pay off my student loans. Are you in one of those? I'm not sure. I know you shared some about your professional history and that it's very impressive, Billy. I remember something about Tesla that you decided not to accept a job offer from them or something like that. Changed careers. Were you in nursing or teaching or? Oh man. Okay. So let's see if I can focus. Yes, nursing. Awesome. It's such a noble field. I mean, so is teaching. And then and they're such noble professions. And then to be kicked in the teeth that you're not professional when you work your freaking ass off. Oh, and case managers killed my back, y'all. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, case managers, which we need more of those. I thought that there was a big future in case management, less of a future in the therapies because they don't necessarily want to help people progress. They just want to help people manage. So that's ridiculous. Okay. So yesterday we were talking about Lindsay being on The Apprentice. So why is there this theme in this administration of lying about how people met? I'm really convinced that the only reason that they would lie is if there's a big scary secret. So Lindsay Halligan, the fool of an attorney who is very likely, I think, not just going to get disbarred, but actually go to jail for the shenanigans that she pulled with the James Comey thing or with the Letitia James thing, because basically she asked for an indictment. The grand jury said no. So she took the grand jury something else to ask for an indictment. They said yes. And then she switched them out. So she falsified the documentation. So she could easily go to prison for a very long time for that, is my understanding. But, figuring out how her and Erica Kirk knew each other, most likely from the time that they were going to college together in 2007 at that Regis University in Denver, Colorado, that just so happens to be the think tank for the Heritage Foundation and for Project 2025 and the white Christian nationalist crap. So they both were students there for a couple of years together, the exact same age, the exact same year, the exact same courses of study. And then they both competed in that Miss Colorado beauty pageant. So I'm not sure when Lindsay was a contestant on The Apprentice, since I could barely even find that she was a contestant on The Apprentice, if anyone finds that out. But then President Piggy has this whole story about how they met on the golf course at Mar-a-Lago, that he just thought she was an attractive woman wearing a nice business attire. And he said, "Hey, what do you do for work?" And she said, "Oh, I'm a lawyer." And he said, "Oh, come work for me." And this is what's really weird. This is what I wanted to get to. He says that they met in 2021. But he obviously hadn't been doing The Apprentice for many years. Let's see what years he did The Apprentice. You guys might know. What was the years that The Apprentice was on? 2004 to 2017. But it couldn't have had, well, I guess right up until the inauguration. So obviously, oh, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger took over for a little bit. It was hosted by President Piggy for the first 14 seasons. Over a period of 13 years. Anyway, so it was done filming by 2017. So he would have most likely met Lindsay Halligan during The Apprentice when she competed on it, which would have been a handful of years before 2021. So why that backstory? And 2021 is the same year that Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk claimed that they met through a mutual friend who they will never identify. I think it has to be President Piggy, or why would they be trying to hide it? But I'm thinking that whole story about how they met during a job interview is likely bullcrap. But why are they trying to pretend that both of those things happened at the same time, 2021? So that would be like after his first presidency, I guess, is the point of trying to like push them into that time frame. Very, very odd, very suspicious. There's so many parallels between Erica Kirk and Lindsay Halligan that it's just mind-boggling. And 4 years is just not that long. It's not that long for a couple to be together and already start a family. She must have been pregnant before they got married. No, I think that they say that they got pregnant on their honeymoon. It's like, yeah, right. Of course you didn't have premarital sex. Of course not. Not Charlie Kirk. Never. And then they try to say that Erica is like even more conservative than him. She doesn't look very conservative in a lot of those photo shoots. And neither does Lindsay Halligan. I mean, they both look hot. They both look like Playboy bunnies. They were both very vampy. And speaking of vampy, Erica Kirk really likes to do the whole witch thing. She loves to wear like the black lace dresses. Let's see. Erica Kirk dressed like a witch. And then that whole thing with the Jezebel stuff, both in the Snake Eyes movie and in the story of Charlie Kirk. Like, is she a Jezebel? Is she the Jezebel? It's funny that I put that into the search bar, Erica Kirk dressed like a witch. And of course, it's not pulling up all of the times that she was dressed like a witch. But I'll pull them up and take some screenshots I hadn't done that yet. There's always so much to do. Only so many hours in a day. Okay, let's set that down. I'm setting it down. I said I'm setting it down, and I'm setting it down. My knees and back are effed. I'm so sorry, Anna Bees. Yes, I'm old as dirt now, bones aching, LOL. Well, you don't sound old at all, like your voice when you'd be on panels. I've been on panels with you, and just the way you are in chat, too. You're very young at heart, my dear. Age is just a number, right? Okay, so this is what's weird, though, that President Piggy is trying to say that he basically scouted Lindsay Halligan at Mar-a-Lago the same way G and little E scouted Virginia Giuffre at Mar-a-Lago. Like, he's making it sound more and more like a hunting ground. Or maybe like a, what's another word? You know, like a pickup joint. It's weird. It's really weird. It's where you find hotties and you offer them jobs as massage therapists, as lawyers, you know. First you ask them, well, what kind of job would you like? And then you offer them that job. Okay, so Erica was on season 3 in 2019 of that reality show on Bravo. I looked it up yesterday. I forget the name of it. It was like summer something. Erica Kirk reality show on Bravo 2019. Summer House. So she was on a brief 1 episode stint on season 3. Okay, I thought it was 3 times, but no, it was season 3. 1 episode, season 3, which aired in 2019. I really think I'm just highly suspicious, and I've got evidence to base my suspicions on. They're not just completely out of the blue. That both of these women, Lindsay Halligan and Erica Kirk, have some dark, dark secrets, like that they were enticing minors to do things, you know, like Jiz did. And that in doing that, they could go to prison for a long time, like Jiz did. And so President Piggy has recruited them to be a part of his staff or a part of his entourage to both protect him and distract him. And if not distract him, I mean, that was a Freudian slip, distract the public, you know, like, oh, pretty girl, shiny thing. So if they are at risk of being in trouble legally, they're going to have a lot invested to fight tooth and nail, right? That's my point. My brain is 11. Billy, that's cute. Arrested Development, LOL, Summer House, a college age 90210, in my opinion. I never watched it, so I don't have any idea about that. And so 2021 was the year that Erica met Charlie. They say, who knows if that's true. And then 2021 is the year that President Piggy says he met Lindsay Halligan. There's just so much to talk about. I want to play for you. I'm looking for my smoothie. I want to play for you that Katie Johnson interview. You guys want to hear that? Probably some of you have seen it. Some of you probably know what I'm talking about. Some of you probably have no idea, so I'll fill you in more. One sec. Katie Johnson is a Jane Doe type of name. That she's the one who filed the lawsuit against President Piggy 3 times in 2016. And I've read the lawsuit before. I could read that again, but if people wanted me to. But what I wanted to do right now is got a text coming across my phone distracting me that I don't need to be distracted by. So I think it was in yesterday's description of yesterday's live that I put the link to it, because I was going to show it to you guys yesterday, but then I didn't. So here it is. Let's see if I can show it to you. So Katie Johnson, and I think she's being interviewed by Savannah Guthrie on the Today Show or something. Let's see. Sorry for biting my tongue. Yes. Right, because... Wait a second. That didn't work. So it's a video affidavit. Are you ready?
You promised to me for doing this interview. Excellent. Yes, everything that I say at this interview will be the truth. I met Donald Trump at some parties I attend that I was working for Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. There was about 3 or 4 times that I had encounters with Donald Trump. I was 13. The first time that I met Donald Trump was at a party at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion.
Okay, I misspoke. This is the videotaped deposition, not the interview with Savannah Guthrie, I guess.
There was an orgy going on, and he was kind of watching off in the distance. And he basically asked if I could come over and give him a hand job. And
trigger warning.
At first, I wasn't very comfortable with it. This was like my first or second, first party, and I didn't think that was my responsibility. But my recruiter told me that I needed to do it.
Who is her recruiter? Could her recruiter have been, I don't know, Erica Kirk or Lindsay Halligan? I don't know.
Agreed to, and then he, I began to. Sorry, this is a little difficult, but before I gave him a hand job, he kind of slapped my hand away and said, "You need to use a glove." And the recruiter ran over and handed me a glove and said, "No one touches Mr. Trump's penis without a glove." So I needed to use a glove. I gave him a hand job, and then immediately after, he had an orgasm, he left, and I didn't see him again at that party. Jeffrey Epstein is a billionaire friend of Donald Trump's that was responsible for throwing the sex parties. There was, I originally came to New York trying to be a model, and in my travels, I met a girl named Tiffany there who was very interested in me and said that, that's what she did, is that she helped girls, get what they wanted. And she could help me get into modeling, that she knew a lot of people that were higher ups, and that it would be no problem. And so that's why, I would just basically have to come model.
One sec. I was afraid that was a piece of my braces. I don't know if it's like a piece of a peach pit from my smoothie. What did I want to say? Now I'm all distracted. The recruiters. We know that Erica Kirk was a recruiter for a modeling agency in New York City because she has that on her freaking resume. And Lindsay Halligan doesn't say what she did for the modeling agency that she has on her resume. She just says that she worked there. But it's very odd to me that it doesn't say like worked as a model. It makes me think she didn't work there as a model. She worked there as something else, which I don't know. She could have been a receptionist.
At a couple of events and meet some people. There'd be no sweat. So, of course I went, that sounded like no big deal. And she was recruiting the girls to come to these parties. And they all looked, most of them were, my age. There was, maybe a couple girls that were maybe 14 or 15, but it seemed to me like we were all very young. So. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein knew that I was 13 years old when he entered.
13. So her face is blurred out in most of the videos that you see, either of this or the interview with Savannah Guthrie. But some of them, I've seen her face where it's not blurred out. So she filed that lawsuit 3 times in 2016. She withdrew it 3 times in 2016. And you have to give a reason when you withdraw a lawsuit. And she gave the reason all 3 times was because she'd been threatened with physical violence, which is what all of the survivors are currently dealing with right now as we speak. All of the little E survivors. Like, who would be threatening them and why?
Me, he asked me to get down to my bra, just my panties, and I thought that was weird, but modeling, maybe it was something about my figure. And he asked that I give him a massage. So and then he asked me my age. He asked me, and I told him, I told him that I was 13. I told him why I was there. And he basically said, well, you'll do, I'm sure that you'll fit pretty nicely here. And then he tried to, basically, slip himself inside of me. And I pushed him away, and I said, I'm, because at that point in time, I still believed that there was models, and then there was the girls that did that. Like, I thought there was a separation. So, I told him that I wasn't interested in that, but he said that I would do. And as far as Donald Trump, he knew that I was 13, and I believe that Tiffany told him. He seemed to take a liking to me because I was I was so young, and I was also a virgin. So I don't know. It seemed like he wasn't really into having girls that were liked by the other guys. He kind of, the whole glove, he kind of liked things to be his first, if that, for lack of, a better term, but he was the one who wanted to get to a girl.
And let me give you more trigger warning because it gets worse.
Before everyone else did. Donald Trump knew that I was 13 because the first night that I was there, Tiffany actually suggested that, she had a whole bunch of different wigs, and I expressed interest in them. I always told her that I would love to walk around with blue hair, and so I tried some on, and there was a blonde wig that that she said that looked great on me. So I wore that wig. And Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter. And she said, well, she's 13 as well. So he knew the first time that he saw me, but he took a liking to me because I look like his daughter. And the reason I'm coming out now is when it happened originally, I just wanted to forget about the whole incident. And when I saw that he was running for president, I felt it was my responsibility to come out and tell our country what kind of man this person is. I don't think that he should even be the dog catcher, let alone running the greatest country in the world. After I met Tiffany at the bus station, she took me to, basically went to her house, her apartment, and got ready. I put on a blonde wig because it seemed fun to pretend to be someone different, but we went to the party that I was basically interviewing for, and Jeffrey Epstein was the one that was running the party. He had a quick meeting with everyone that was employed there, and then he had a private interview with me. The first time that I met Jeffrey Epstein, he did try to force himself inside of me without getting the go-ahead or anything. And then it was probably about the third or fourth party is when he basically
Trigger warning, it gets violent. Hey, Fred. Loading fast.
force. It was another massage, and it was basically like, it wasn't sex, but there was penetration, and I told him that I didn't want that, but he kind of got a little irritated. So I don't know. There was something about him that I guess I kind of held him I held a lot of resentment towards him. By that time that happened, I kind of already started catching on that maybe I wasn't there for modeling, and maybe I was just getting used for things, and I felt that I kind of held him responsible. I did receive money to go to these.
So sad. She's like figuring it out as a 13-year-old. And yeah, it's very emotional. So Fred, so nice to see you. Hola, fading fast. And your isn't your procedure coming up on Tuesday? So yeah, taking really good care of yourself, getting all of your rest and all of your nourishment between now and then. Always, but especially with the procedure coming up. So this is Katie Johnson, if you know who that is. That's like a Jane Doe euphemism for one of the victims. She was the person, if you remember back during the 2016 campaigning election year, she was the one who filed the lawsuit 3 times that she had been essayed by President Piggy when she was 13. And she withdrew it 3 times. The last time that she withdrew it was like literally days before the election. So then it all just went bye-bye, and then we never heard about it again. Worked 5 hours. Oh, you have it the day after tomorrow. Ooh.
Parties. After every party, I was paid by Mr. Epstein. There wasn't, out of all the girls that were there with me, most of them were 13, 14. I think the oldest one might have been 16, just turned 16. She'd been there for a while. It was Tiffany. He liked to watch other people have sex. He's a germ, doesn't like germs, so he, rather than partaking, he just watches. So Tiffany had informed him that I was the virgin, and so I was basically, sorry, so it was Tiffany who introduced us.
Okay.
Second time that I saw Mr. Trump was same scenario. He was onlooking at an orgy, and Tiffany came over to me and said that Donald Trump had requested that I perform oral sex on him, and I'd never done something like that with anybody, so I was a little nervous. So I walked up to him, and he was sitting there very proud, and I just kind of moved in that direction, and he kind of slapped me away and said, "What are you doing? And you need to put a condom on," like I was some dirty filth or something without a condom. Tiffany ran over and handed him a condom and apologized, profusely, and said that would never happen again. And she looked at me and scolded me basically like a child and said that that's not how Donald Trump always anytime he touched.
These people are so sick and twisted. Just the emotional abuse on top of the essay, doesn't it just make you so angry? And sorry for scratching my nose in front of you guys. I don't like to do that without a tissue and without an excuse me. I'm just weird like that.
Just because it needs to have a condom on or a glove, and especially when it comes to performing oral sex. So I apologized, and then I performed oral sex on him. And once he was done, he hopped up, and that's the last I saw of him at that party. It's like once he's done, he's out. Mm-hmm. So
okay.
Sometimes before some of the things that I noticed that were weird with him was sometimes before the parties he would come over, and Jeffrey Epstein and himself would kind of banter back and forth, and he was Donald Trump was very racist. He said a lot of racist things. Like there was a lot of comments towards Mr. Epstein about being Jewish, and called him a Jew bastard.
Shocking, huh?
So that he was cheap, and there was some words I didn't even understand. Something about his the shape of his penis being directly related to his mole, or I'm not too familiar with.
They both have the weirdest shaped junk. So Donnie is President Piggy is infamous for the mushroom that Summer Daniels, is that her name? The porn star with the lawsuit against him. She said that he was shaped like a mushroom, a very, very small mushroom. And then all of the girls that have testified about little E said that he was shaped like an egg. Sorry. I should have given you more trigger warnings.
The Jewish tradition. So, but I'm pretty sure that whatever he was saying wasn't very nice. Also referred to, people of Hispanic or, Hispanic name, they called them spics. That was around the first time that the World Trade Center had gotten the bomb in the 90s. And he was, talking about the towel heads and how, we would just be better off if we,
So not the Twin Towers getting the airplanes crashed into them. We all remember back in the 90s when there was a bomb I think it was in the garage of one of the World Trade Centers.
Didn't let him in, or, basically got rid of every single one that was already here. And I felt it made me really uncomfortable, really, really uncomfortable. He also loved to call Black people niggers, and Arabic people he called sand niggers. The only time that he tried to give me some money was our last encounter together, where he acted out a rape fantasy. I was forced to give that money back because Jeffrey Epstein paid us after the party. So, but he just gave me the money. I don't even know why he gave it to me. Maybe to make me feel more cheap, but it was a pretty. it was a rape fantasy to him, but I wasn't playing. So there was those 2 times, and then there was after the next thing that Tiffany approached me with was that he had a fantasy where he walked in on his maids basically making out, and that it was some type of fantasy for him. So she asked, I mean, I was at that point, I was like, I don't want to be involved with anything that has to do with him. But she's like, you were just basically the other one. So there's nothing that you ought to do. Just don't, he's requesting you to be involved. So I reluctantly, I felt like I didn't have a choice there, but it was.
So I think what's one of the things that's really important to glean from this is this atmosphere of these SMEX parties that are orchestrated by little E and maybe President Piggly. That's a good one. Maybe that's my nickname for him today, Biggly Piggly. That not only do they kind of control the parties, but they control the activities at the parties. So if you're requested, it's not like you really have a choice, right? Unless you want to get blacklisted and not work in the field that you're trying to work in.
Basically, he's walking in, his 2 maids. I was one of the maids. I was the white maid. And there was a Spanish girl, Maria, who was the Hispanic maid.
Oh, wait. Maria was 12, and I don't think anybody's seen her since this. I think it says that, but we'll see.
And we were making out, and he walks in, and he gets really angry and threatens to call immigration on Maria if she doesn't come over and make things right and give him a blowjob. So while she is over there giving him a blowjob, I am just trying to, I'm supposed to look scared, like, oh no, and cleaning up things and pretending like I'm trying to go back to my job as a maid. And then he's being so rude to Maria. I felt so bad for her. Even though I guess it didn't seem like a fantasy. It didn't seem like it's the weirdest fantasy as far as that. He was threatening to call immigration on her, so that she didn't know how to, she wasn't even near going down to give him, perform oral sex on him before he slapped her away and said, what are you doing? You need to put a condom on, and she's trying to, I'm so sorry. And he's like, you can't even understand what you're saying. You speak English, you just call her derogatory comments. And then he's like, you know what? You don't know what you're doing. Have her come over and show you.
1 second.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you're actually aware, but
let me fix this real quick. The kitty cat and the puppy dog knocked things over. Oh, and my Brando. Silly animals. They can't mess up my set like that. My kid's dad, when he raped me, tied me up, etc., I think it was practice. He refused the free DNA kit my kids paid for. My guess is unsolved rapes in the Bay Area, California. Wow. Granny Annie, that is so effing cray. I am so sorry, my dear. That's just tragic that you went through that. Just tragic. So yeah, that was different than what I thought it was. I thought it was the interview with Savannah Guthrie. Let me see if I can find that one too, because it has some different information. Katie Johnson interview with Savannah Guthrie on morning television talk show. And I might be getting the, maybe it's not Savannah Guthrie. Katie Johnson interview. So here's Katie Johnson's lawyer breaks silence about Einstein and Biggly Piggly. So let me see what this video is. This is just a ET Times or E Times. That's not what I wanted. Do you guys remember who Katie Johnson did that interview with? Katie Johnson interview on being sexually assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. So AI overview says a woman who used the pseudonym Katie Johnson in legal filings and an interview alleged she was essayed by JE and raped by DT at the age of 13 in 1994. She withdrew her lawsuits in November of 2016, days before the U.S. presidential election, citing multiple death threats to her and her family. So let me see if so that whole interview that I just showed you, like 13 minutes of it, I showed you a clip that is from Zev. I forget how you say Zeb's last name. He's one of the content creators that I really like. I've told you guys about Lev and Zev. So Lev Parnas, and then Waj Ali, and then Lev. Last name starts with an S. Anyway, the 13 minutes that I played for you is a video from his channel. And then I'll link that up in the description. I already have it linked up in the description of yesterday's video. And then that's kind of like a spliced cut of the whole 29-minute deposition. Oh, here's how you say his name. How do you say his name? I'll just not worry about it. But I do like to put the names out there. Go to YouTube, go to my channel, and go to the live from yesterday where I have that in there. And it should tell me in the description. Zev Shalev. I should be able to remember that now. The name of his channel is Narrative with Zev Shalev, and he's great. He used to be a mainstream investigative journalist, and he's on his own now. There's so many of these, what used to be mainstream investigative journalists that are off on their own. Who was the guy who got fired after It was Terry Moran. Terry Moran interviewed Bigly Piggly, and then a little bit later, a few weeks later, he put up a post about Stephen Miller and how gross Stephen Miller was, and then he got fired. And he's had his own YouTube channel ever since. He knew he'd get fired for putting up that post, but he thought it was important to put it up because he thought it was just important to be honest. Terry Moran's post about Stephen Miller. Let's see. I'm going to read it to you guys in case you haven't. It was a tweet. And then I wanted to read the whole thing to you. Let me see if I can find the whole thing. The entire tweet that Terry Moran posted about Stephen Miller that got him fired. I don't think it wants to show me the whole tweet, which is funny. But yeah, he defended it because he said it's true and accurate. How can I be more specific to get that entire tweet? I want to read the entire tweet, word for word, what Terry Moran wrote about Stephen Miller. I don't think it's going to give it to me, but I'm going to keep looking. Oh, maybe this is it. At 12:06 a.m. on June 8th, Moran posted on X. The thing about Stephen Miller is not that he is the brains behind Trumpism. Yes, he is one of the people who conceptualizes the impulses of the Trumpist movement and translates them into policy. But that's not what's interesting about Miller. It's not brains, it's bile. Miller is a man who is richly endowed with the capacity for hatred. He's a world-class hater. You can see this just by looking at him because you can see that his hatreds are his spiritual nourishment. He eats his hate. Trump is a world-class hater, but his hatred is only a means to an end. And that end is his own glorification. That's his spiritual nourishment. So that's the whole post. And yeah, I thought that that he did a great job. Like, he didn't get bombastic. He didn't get overly dramatic. He just was very straightforward that this was how he felt. And he did a really good job interviewing Donald Bigly Piggly and keeping a straight face when that key question, when Bigly Piggly showed him the framed Declaration of Independence and how he thought it was so great. And Terry Moran asked him, well, what is it that you like so much about the Declaration of Independence? And of course, Biggly Piggly's answer was the entire thing. And so, being a good investigative journalist, Terry Moran, pushed further a question of something like, well, what does it mean to you? And Biggly Piggly was like, it's a declaration of independence. It declares independence. Oh, and he went on to say, like, it's a lovely document. It's a lovely declaration. It's all, lollipops and puppies and rainbows. And it's like, no, it's actually like not a nice document. It's more of like a kind of a spiteful and vindictive document. So, trying to protect citizens of our country against the crap that they were escaping from in the UK. It's not a happy, joy, everything's peaceful and wonderful. It's this shit sucks and we're not putting up with it anymore. F you. It's a declaration of independence. I don't know. It's like he doesn't know what he's talking about or something. I don't know. I'm just sorry for the walking girls he probably raped. Yes. I can hear F1 races through the streets of Vegas. And why do we not hear about the investigation of Matthew Leibelsberger, the Army career soldier who allegedly blew himself up in his Tesla in front of the Trump Tower there in Vegas on New Year's Day? How come we never hear about that? Do you have any idea, Granny Annie, since you're right there in Vegas? I mean, same thing with even Charlie Kirk's death. It's like there's just no follow-up. It's very suspicious to me. Very, very suspicious. These things are just outlandish. So I think I was talking earlier tonight about the was I talking earlier tonight or was that last night about Jamal Khashoggi getting executed at the Istanbul Saudi consulate, the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. So that was, I think, October 2nd of 2018. I remember I looked it up yesterday on my live. So I think I have that in me brain. I know it's October. I know it was 2018, but I think it's October 2nd because then his birthday was just like maybe 11 days later, maybe October 13th, but obviously he didn't make it to his birthday. So there's some emails that indicate communication between Steve Bannon and little E about what looks like potentially plotting of the execution or the assassination. And now, as of today, there allegedly appears to be documented evidence of Biggly Piggly having involvement in that too. I mean, I always thought he had involvement in it literally from day one when it happened because he was our president and this was an American citizen and there should be outrage and there should be hell to pay. And there just wasn't enough of that. So I was talking with someone who knows more about the Jamal Khashoggi case than I, and she was telling me that not only was his uncle the arms dealer that owned the yacht that Biggly Piggly owned, but that also Jamal Khashoggi's related to Dodi Fayed, the one who died with Princess Diana. Let me see what AI says about that. Because I thought I had heard that, but then I thought maybe I heard that wrong. Jamal Khashoggi, relation to Dodi Fayed. They were first cousins. Jamal Khashoggi's aunt, Samira Khashoggi, was Dodi's mother. Samira married Dodi's father, Mohammed Al Fayed, and they had one son, Dodi. Jamal Khashoggi's aunt, Samir Khashoggi, was the sister of Jamal's uncle, Aden Khashoggi, and that's the one, Aden Khashoggi, Adnan, Adnan, that's the one who was the arms dealer. So he made his fortune. He was a billionaire from selling arms to the country that begins with the letter I. And, you know, we don't talk about that enough. That is also what allegedly Little E made most of his fortune with, selling arms to the country that begins with the letter I. And there's another one. So yeah, Jamal Khashoggi and Dodi Fayed, first cousins. Isn't that wild? And yeah, he was born on October 13th, 1958. And so, you know, Dodi Fayed was basically eliminated with Lady Di, Princess Diana. Was that 1997 when they died in that horrible car crash that seemed like an obvious setup from the royal family? And then, like, I would think that the royal family had something to do with Jamal as well. And I am convinced that the royal family had something to do with Little E getting Epsteined, because they had a lot to hide. I'm also convinced that they had something to do with Virginia getting Epsteined, because they were pissed. They were pissed. So yeah, you know, Jamal Khashoggi was, the official narrative is that he was assassinated, but I believe that Dodi Fayed and Lady Di were also assassinated. In my humble conspiracy theory opinion, allegedly. Conspiracy theorists are linking Jamal Khashoggi's red rum to Princess Diana. So this is an article from the New Statesman right after it happened, October 25th of 2018. Let me read a little bit of that to you guys. Or not, because it wants me to accept cookies. I won't read it. I don't like accepting cookies. Like, no, thank you. I have enough crap on my phone. Crash was 98. You are correct. Thank you, Granny Annie. How could I think it was 97? It was absolutely 98. I remember it was like September, wasn't it? September of 98, because, you know, I was in Hawaii when it happened. I was in Honolulu, and I was thinking, when I said 97, I was thinking that I was in Honolulu in 97, but no, you're correct. It was 98. Thanks for correcting me. I really appreciate that much, much, much. Oh, and Nancy's here and I missed it. How come I can't see that? Because I have it on top chat. Sorry, instead of live chat. Sorry if I've missed some of your comments. Dang it, Nancy. That's so weird that it wouldn't show up your comment just because I had it on top chat. But I'm really glad that Anna B said hi to you so that I noticed that. So rude. Good evening, Jazz Chat. Everything is so suspicious. 33 hours to catch the patsy that assassinated Charlie Kirk. 33,000 emails. Hillary Clinton. What's up with the 33s? They're sixes. Exactly. Yeah, it seems like it's one of those numbers that is much liked by these whack jobs. Yes, Labor Day weekend. Oh, I didn't even remember it as Labor Day weekend. I just remember being there in Honolulu and just being stunned. I told you guys the story recently. We were driving in Honolulu in our rental car, and the second I heard about it on the radio, I was so devastated. I was a huge fan of Princess Diana, huge fan. And it just floored me, and it just seemed so effing obvious from jump that it was orchestrated by her in-laws. And how could they do that? Like, how could Prince Charles, King Charles now, Prince Charles at the time, how could he do that to his son's mother? But that kind of crap happens all the time in true crime, right? I mean, it's just more domestic violence. So, who was it that I heard talking about? There's this channel that's new to me. The woman is brilliant. I wanted to introduce her to you guys. And it's so hard for me to remember the names of channels that are new to me because there's so much in my brain. My bandwidth is failing. I was going to look at my history to see the name of because I watched another video of hers today. So she was the one that was talking about Sherry Jacobs, Cheri, and her last name is Jacobus, Jacobus. She is awesome. I love her. Another very professional, used to work in mainstream media, has her own thing, and she's really smart. She knows what she's talking about. She's very thorough. And something that I didn't know, I'd often wondered about Ivana's passing away the day before those 3 depositions were scheduled. And I've often wondered, like, how could her kids not speak out? But I thought, well, they were probably feared for their own safety, or they just lived in denial, because that's a pretty difficult thing to wrap your mind around, that your own dad would do that, not only to your own mom, but do that to you, put you through that. And Sherry Jacobus, yeah, I think that's how you say it. Sherry Jacobus said that was a message to the kids. That was a very intentional message to the kids, and the kids got the message. So I thought that was pretty wild and pretty, like, on point. Granny Annie, your grandbaby is 26 years old. I wonder what time the crash was and how come we've never seen the body. Well, the crash with Princess Diana, I think it was like late at night, like they were leaving a restaurant. Like, I don't know how late, maybe 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. That was so crazy. And yeah, it's a very good question. Dang it, Nancy also ran over my Maltese Pee-wee that weekend. Oh, I am so sorry, my dear. That sucks. I'm assuming that Pee-wee didn't survive. Oh, man, that is horrible. I could just cry for you. I fear that for my little rat dog. Where is she? Come here, baby. Come here, little rat dog. I have worried about that kind of thing with this one because she's so silly. But yeah, she's not allowed to be anywhere near the car. I mean, I don't even like to take her places because she could wiggle out of her little harness, and she is just not well behaved when she's out in the world. She's well behaved when she's in my arms, but she is a little crazy girl. I was going to try to put her next to Mittens so you can see what I mean about their size. There. Do you see how the cat is twice the size of the dog? This one is so cute. He's such a love bug. He's like falling off of the dog bed. Yes, it was obvious to me that she was taken out. I can't even say King Charles. I see a man that wished he was a tampon. Granny Annie, I will never forget that either. And then SNL did the greatest skit about that letter that he wrote to Camille. Oh my God, that was so funny. I just want to be your tampon. What a whack job. Like, why not her dildo? Come on. I don't know. How about lover? How about I just want to be inside of you, baby? But yeah, so gross. Sorry, you guys. Trigger warning. And you guys probably all remember that. That was just unforgettable. Hilarious. That's the most horrific thing. I'm so sorry. The survivor's guilt is real. God bless you, my dear. Yeah. And at Prince William's wedding, they showed someone very similar to Princess Diana. What would you do if paparazzi was constantly following you and you knew your ex had a hit on you? Wild. Dang it, Nancy. That is super wild. I do not remember anything about a tampon. Anna Bees? Oh my goodness. So just a quick review. A letter that Prince Charles wrote to Camille was him describing how much he longed for her and how he just wished that he could be her tampon. Is that the worst or the best or a mixture of both? Okay, so I had some really crazy thoughts, you guys, and I've waited 90 minutes in to see if anybody gets this far in the video before spilling the beans. And where do I even begin? I have this deep-seated, crazy conspiracy theory that there's just a lot of human transporting going on right under our noses, more than we could possibly imagine. And I was thinking about that yacht. I was thinking about the yacht that Khashoggi's uncle and Donnie, Biggly Piggly, and the Saudi royalty owned. And I was thinking about yacht girls. Remember the yacht girls from like the Idaho 4 case? I'd never heard of a yacht girl. And I guess there's yacht boys too. So your yacht girls and your yacht boys are basically going to be like the kind of people that you're going to invite to Pedo Island or onto your Lolita airplane or to your Smex party at Mar-a-Lago. So those are yacht girls, right? So that was the first time I was ever introduced to that phrase or that concept was with the Idaho 4 case. So people are accusing Maddie Mogan and Kaylee G. People were accusing those two of being yacht girls. So basically like sugar babies. And, and it all tied in with the OnlyFans. And I don't know if it's true, but it certainly seemed quite plausible, especially because they did have pictures of themselves on yachts. And I thought, man, how do these college girls afford all this? And anyway, I was thinking about the Princess Trump yacht and then thinking, they probably, when they have their parties on the yachts, just like Naomi Campbell's yacht party that Virginia Giuffre was at, when you're on the open seas, you got that jurisdictional problem, right? Or problem or not a problem, depending on how you look at it. So just like the same way criminals want to find like state lines or county lines or jurisdiction problems, like with federal parks, state parks, county parks, all of these make for criminals' delight that the jurisdictions can be very murky or dicey or challenging. And so I thought, oh, that's probably why they like the yachts, is to have the yacht parties where you're like effing pirates and there's no jurisdiction. And then I was thinking, yeah, same with Mars too, right? Or when you're in the air, like on Lolita Express, crimes that happen on the airplane. I think it was Virginia who said that the worst of the worst happened on the airplanes on the Lolita, which is why I think that Melania and Biggly Piggly get so upset when people like Michael Wolff repeat the story that the first time Biggly Piggly slept with Melania was on Lolita Express, because that's like a skanky hookup, right? That's not like how a first lady, what's the word, consummates her love of the future president. That's trash. That's trashy, right? That's where they grape the minors. So, so yeah, in the air, on the water, on Mars, and the thing with the water too. Okay, this, forgive me, this it's really nuts. It's really effing freaking, I just want to drop the F-bomb, nuts, but I think that it's true. Ghislaine had a company that she tried to start when she was trying to rehab her own reputation. And it was called like Terra something. And it was like this global oceanic society. Like, oh, nobody cares about the ocean except me. I care about the ocean. Donate your money to me, my oceanic society, and I'll protect our ocean community globally. And for a while, I've thought that's really fishy. Like, what was up with the water and the oceans? Like, how does that tie in with the transporting, right? And then today it hit me. That's how it ties in with the transporting. So that's why she wanted to have this like ocean thing, so she could be like the pirate queen for all the transporting. And then she had that company, and she was like doing public speaking, like TED Talks and shit like that, and trying to get people to donate their money to her, since she didn't have her sugar daddy anymore. And she had to pay all these millions to Virginia douchebag Gouffre. I mean, I don't think she's a douchebag, but I'm, pretending that I'm Jizz for a second. And then remember this last summer, the only Democrat who said, like, why are we still talking about these e-files? Like, yeah, we need to like let it go and move on. The only idiot who said that in the Democratic Party was Nancy Pelosi. Oh, and she just happens to be retiring right now. Huh. Interesting. Why did she say that? It turns out that her and her husband had a whole lot of money invested with Ghislaine's ocean effing business. And then Ghislaine was secretly married to some guy. So Nancy Pelosi and her hubby were tight with these two. They were especially tight with Ghislaine's secret husband. Ghislaine Maxwell's secret husband. Gerald Borgerson. She married in 2016. And I don't know if they're still married or not. So secret. Gerald Borgerson, if you want to write that down or look it up. Oh, it's Scott Gerald Borgerson, Borgerson. So, let's see. Ghislaine Maxwell's Oceanic Society company, Terramar, which is interesting because I'm thinking like Vista del Mar. I think Mar is sun in Spanish, isn't it? So the Terramar project, founded in 2012 in the United States by a socialite and later convicted child sex offender Jiz Max, a sister organization in the United Kingdom, was incorporated in 2013. Terramar announced its closure on July 12th of 2019, shortly after New York federal prosecutors arrested Jiz's longtime partner, J.E. It was officially dissolved on December 3rd of 2019. And then I would imagine that this logo, that's the Terramar Project logo, I would imagine, like it looks to me normal and harmless, but I would imagine that there's probably some weird ass secret symbols in there because you know how they are. You know how they are. So the locations were New York City, that was 2012 from 2015, Massachusetts from 2016 to 2019, Woburn, Massachusetts, and then Salisbury, United Kingdom from 2013 to 2019. So yeah, I think it was a giant scam. And she gave a lecture at the University of Texas at Dallas, and later that year a TED Talk about the importance of ocean conservation. Jiz also spoke at the United Nations as the founder of the Terramar Project. She accompanied Stuart Beck, a 2013 Terramar board member, to United Nations meetings to discuss the project. Jiz presented at the Arctic Circle Assembly. Yeah, it was the Arctic Circle, I think, is where I'm going to read a little bit more. Nancy Pelosi comes into play because I was thinking like Alaska. Scott Borgerson, listed on Terramar's board of directors for 2013, appeared with Jiz at the Arctic Circle conference. In June 2014, Maxwell and Borgerson spoke at an event in D.C., sponsored by the Council on Foreign Relations, titled Governing the Ocean Commons, Growing Challenges, New Approaches. Again, governing the ocean commons. How do we transport all of these SMEC slaves, in my opinion? And especially because guess whose name is just about to come up? Shocking. Next sentence. Terramar's commitment to advancing the Sustainable Development Goals was showcased by the Clinton Global Initiative. What do you know? Let's see. So I'm just trying to scan it for the Nancy Pelosi tie-in. Nancy Pelosi's tie to Terramar. Connection. Oh, this is ridiculous. AI lies. It says she has nothing to do with it. they've scrubbed it because I've looked it up before. That is so funny. Political rumors and conspiracy theories. The name Terramar has appeared in online discussions and speculation surrounding Jizz and little e. In this context, some unverified claims have attempted to link various prominent individuals, including Pelosi, to Maxwell's foundation, but these have been widely dismissed as false or lacking evidence. That's absolute bullshit. I call bullshit because I've looked it up when it was a new thing. It was just a few months ago. It was the first time I heard about it first, and I think it was kind of new on YouTube that anybody was talking about Pelosi's connection, but now they've scrubbed it. Scott Borgenson's connection to Nancy Pelosi. It doesn't want to tell me anything about that either. Let me just see one more way of looking it up. Okay, Scott Borgenson has a minor indirect connection to the former House Speaker Pelosi. He accompanied a congressional fact-finding delegation that included Pelosi in an unofficial capacity in 2008. The connection stems from his former role as an international affairs and Arctic policy expert. The fact-finding trip was in 2008. Aha! So I found it. Aha! AI, you think you're so smart. You think you can scrub crap, but you can't. So you just have to ask the questions differently. Yeah. And you have to know what you're looking for, because if you just buy into their bull crap, they'll take you down the garden path every time. So here it says, Scott Borgenson's primary connection to Nancy Pelosi is a professional one from 2008 when he accompanied her and other members of Congress on an official fact-finding mission related to the Arctic. That is hilarious. Hilarious. Don't mess with me, AI. I'm not saying I'm smarter than AI, but, I'm sure AI will be smarter than all of us. But at the moment, we can outsmart it by asking things in a different verbiage or different angle. Mars C. Thank you, Annie. Granny. Let's see. Sorry, I missed a whole bunch. Meghan Markle. Oh my goodness. I missed so much. I've got to catch all up. I do not remember anything about a tampon. I think that's where we left off. Sorry, I'm back. My friend called LOL. Yes, Camilla was on her period. She was on the rag, man. She's probably still on the rag. Oh, yes. Zac Efron is a yacht boy, allegedly. Yeah, he was a mighty fine yacht boy. I don't mind saying so myself. How many unaccompanied minors from the border crossing are missing? Zero accountability. Exactly. And don't let me forget to talk about the Boring Company after I catch up with you guys with the chat, since I'm like 15 minutes behind. Dang it, Nancy says, no, please, no, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. I may have nightmares. I wonder what that was. The thing about the minors, the ones that they had in cages. I'm sure none of them have been reunited with their families. They're probably all on the high seas and in the air and in tunnels underground with the Boring Company. Like I said, we'll talk about that as soon as I get all caught up, and then we'll wrap up. But Coco wants in. Cabo, we have female deckhands, topless for some. A lady was proud of her drug-addicted daughter working on a fishing boat instead of stripping. One sec. Let me let the dog in. Hey, baby. Come on in. Oh, we got them all. We got all the dogs. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs in? Oh, just one. Come here. Come here, baby. Oh, she's all cray-cray. She is all cray-cray. There's my baby. She's such a cutie. Such a cutie patootie. Okay. All right. So I'm getting caught up. Ms. Meghan Markle was a Soho girl, point intended, and a yacht girl. Oh, yes, Meghan for sure. All the Kardashians, too. Oh, my goodness. The Kardashians are so gross. Like, Kris Kardashian was best friends with Nicole Brown Simpson. Did she ever speak out for her? Remember, her husband was an attorney who didn't do any work, but he was part of the dream team just so that he couldn't be called to testify against OJ. When OJ did that white Ford Bronco slow chase bullcrap, he landed at the Kardashians' house. He landed specifically on Kim Kardashian's bed. She was 13 at the time. He was hiding out in her bedroom with AJ. Was that his friend that was driving the van? And then that's what got them famous. But those assholes never stood up for Nicole Brown Simpson, let alone Ron Goldman. So they can all just screw themselves. Disgusting pieces of crap. That's so gross. Like, the blood is on their hands. Best friends. NNGB. Been awake since 2 a.m. Oh, good night, going to bed. Nighty night if you're still in earshot, Fred. Nice to see you. Good luck again on your procedure on Monday. If I was a hoe in this day and age, I would 100% do all that and then some. Just recently learned what body count was. Excuse me. I'm not sure what you mean. But see, I'm thinking that that's another thing they would like about the high seas is when they're done with somebody, they can just throw them overboard and be done with them. Sounds like Jiz was trying to run a Clinton charity allegedly for donations, but more like blackmail. In my opinion, I thought it was like laugh my off thing, but no, brain is working, in my opinion. Fred, are you talking 2 a.m. yesterday? My oldest brother's name is Fred. Flew 10 bombers in Desert Storm. Nancy, what body counts? Where? Probably a shell corporation. Oh yeah, absolutely. Just something to get people to give her their money. You know, she had to come up with something. But you know, that was the thing about Little E too. Was a lot of what he did was recover people's money when it was stolen. And he was like some kind of like tax wizard, you know, basically just all kinds of shenanigans. Mars Ocean, arrest them all. Billy, I know exactly. Mars C in Espanol. Trial by Hague. Where was I? Did you hear Biggly Piggly on his plane saying E stole Jennifer, and I quote, she only had very nice things to say about us. Yeah, Virginia Gouffre. Yeah. Yeah. The thing is that he really gave himself away when he said all that stuff on the plane. And for that, we can thank him. I mean, he gives himself away all the time. Mar-a-Lago is lagoon by the sea. Wow. They moved Jiz to a minimum security prison like Stephen Stern's, where they do arts and crafts, etc. Disgusting. I did not know that about Stephen Stern's. Dang it, Nancy. That's creepy AF. That makes me think that he knows people's names in high places that he would circulate his disgusting CP to. And I mean, because why on earth would he get treated with kid gloves? Am I the only Pacific Standard Time person in chat? Look, sleep meds before show started. I took sleep meds before show started. Well, it's only 9 o'clock for you, right? It's midnight here. Just turned into a pumpkin. So please excuse me if I snore. Granny Annie, I believe. So I'm in Dallas, 11 p.m. Thanks for reminding me about my meds. I saw an old Florida case with naughty teacher. His last name was Soto, Louis Soto. Wonder in that Jennifer Soto family. I think it's a fairly common name, but I'm not sure. It could easily be. Annie, that's interesting. Supposedly Stephen only had a brother that's in the military and wants nothing to do with them, but that's interesting. So cute. This would be mom, grandpa's side of family. Jennifer Soto was in on selling Maddie, in my opinion. Yeah, I definitely think Jennifer was in on it. So awful. That poor little baby girl. I remember attorney Kardashian looked so shocked at verdict, knew it meant great raise in career, but he knows OJ did it. Yeah, he definitely looked shocked at the verdict. I mean, OJ was shocked at the verdict. He couldn't believe it because it was unbelievable. Ito should have never had that case. There was so much conflict of interest for Ito and his wife. His wife had been, you know the guy, Mark Furman. His wife had been Mark Furman's supervisor. His wife was like a assistant police chief or something like that with the Los Angeles County. And she hated Mark Furman. They had major clashes, and she not only pretended that she didn't know who Mark Furman was, but then there were other conflicts of interest too. And Ito denied any of it. He's like, yeah, I mean, like they literally said that she was his supervisor because they couldn't deny that. That was documented. But that she didn't know him from Adam, that she supervised 160 people and she didn't know anything about him. And it's like, no, they had many work conflicts where they were like filing grievances against each other and stuff. I mean, not that I'm a Mark Furman fan at all, but that was total bullshit. Ito, man, he screwed up that case bad. I did like Marcia Clark and Charles Darden. You know, that was Charles Darden's first and last case. And then he wrote a book about it and made millions. Ito wrote a book about it, made millions. I'm sure Mark Furman made millions. I don't know who else wrote books and made millions. I read Mark Furman's book. I think I read The Other Best Friend of Nicole Brown Simpson. Her name was like Faye or something like that. Nicole Brown Simpson's best friend, Faye. Faye Resnick. I read her book. She's a television personality now, an author, and an interior designer. She is best known for her involvement in the O.J. Simpson trial. And yeah, there was a lot of cocaine involved in that case too. I mean, Cato was the cocaine guy. You know, rich people have a runner like a Cato, so that if there's ever a bust, the Cato takes the fall. And I kind of wonder if Jeffrey was Biggly Piggly's Cato. Don't know. It's a question, not an accusation. Let's see. What's up with 70-year-old Kris Jenner? That can't possibly be. She looks younger than the youngest daughter. There's no way I'm going to believe that's her. Well, she eats babies, dang it, Nancy, and I'm not even kidding you. I mean, that's how she does it. Yes, how can they show Nicole Brown and her boyfriend all red rummed up, but we can't see Idaho 4 victims? Exactly. I know. I've seen the photos. I've seen the crime scene photos. OMG. They're probably online, which is hideous with, like Nicole's kids. We all know that her daughter, Sydney, had major trouble, psychiatric trouble. She was always threatening to red rum her dad because she was probably awake. They probably both were. They probably both woke up when that happened because it wasn't that late at night. And it was a pretty small townhome condominium. I think their bedrooms were like right by the area, what I call the killing cage where OJ trapped them. Let's see. And there was even ice cream. Somebody had bought Ben and Jerry's ice cream. There was melted ice cream in a Ben and Jerry's cup set on the railing of the patio. I think it was Nicole's, and she was eating it when she stepped outside to meet her lover. I mean, she was all decked out in like a little black flimsy thing with or without panties. I don't know. And then she had a bunch of candles burning in the bathroom, and a hot bubble bath was ready. She had it going on, like, I mean, he was returning her mom's sunglasses that her mom left at the restaurant is the story, but it was probably she that left the sunglasses on purpose. Or maybe there were no sunglasses and that was just a story because they didn't want to just say he was coming over for a booty call. But obviously he was, and it was obvious that that wasn't the first time, in my opinion. He was a hottie. I mean, they both were. She was like maybe 10 years older than him, but they were a cute couple. In my opinion, clones, are all of them clones? All of who, Billy? Yeah, I was talking about the Revenge of the Clones and all that crap. Like, I think that's what a lot of the transporting is about, the eugenics and the reproduction. And I was going to talk about the Boring Company. Elon owns the Boring Company, and they make tunnels. He makes tunnels. So what do you use tunnels for? And he had a contract to make a tunnel system in Dubai, like recently. And it was allegedly for their like subway system, but we all know what it's for. Come on. My daughter is studying for CPA last 2 exams. She says a way to avoid 40% tax on inheritance over 15 million is to form a charity. Lights are on when collecting donations. Very cool. Good to know, so I can protect my 15 million. Let's see. Soto is a very common Latin American or Hispanic name. Laughed my ass off. I bet Mark Furman taught Idaho State Police leave an item behind like a sheath. And then I'm so glad we're here, you guys. Remember, Mark Furman showed up at 1122 King Road like a day or two after it happened. And yeah, then they found a freaking glove. Like, seriously, like one of the officers, I think it was like a YouTube guy, like a retired officer that has a YouTube channel. I can't remember which one, that was like alleging that he found a freaking glove on top of a trash can or something. And what is this in Idaho for? Everything's on top of trash cans. Like, they got the monkey brains. I mean, the human brains, or maybe not a human brain, on top of the trash can. That was on top of the dumpster. The zombie trap. Remember that? But yeah, when Furman showed up, I was like, no, don't mess this case up, Furman. Get the F out of there. Because he lives in Sandpoint, Idaho. Oh, Annie, is that a professional job? The Idaho State Police teaching, leave an item behind like a sheath. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that whole thing was so insane. Faye Resnick, Granny Annie knew. Jazz, I love you. Thank you for explaining what chronic PTSD is, how your brain blocks trauma until explains so much how I don't remember 2 years after my husband passed. Anger phase is vicious. Yes. But anger is a really good motivator. Hey, what are you doing? Made me nervous that she was going to go to the bathroom. You better not. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it, cutie. And I love you too, dang it, Nancy. Certified public accountant, tough exam. Proud of her. She's going to be my good Exes trustee. Yes, eugenics, is that the people eaters? No, that's long pig. And eugenics is when they're like designer babies, basically, which is what all of these billionaires are into, you know, like Elon and others. Little E, he wanted to have a baby farm at Zora Ranch, and maybe he does or did have a baby farm at Zora Ranch. Maybe there's still a baby farm at Zora Ranch. Maybe they hired Elon to do his boring out there too. I mean, that is just wackadoodle. Annie, I was half-assed joking because the government is saying nursing is not a professional career. Aha, right. If it's after 9 p.m., it's a booty call, Billy. That's great. That's cute. But yeah, Ron Goldman was so cute, and his poor family. And Nicole's poor family. And those poor kids, you know. So Sydney was always trying to kill her father. I mean, unalive her father. So she had mass anger issues, and she was psychiatrically, she had psychiatric hospitalizations a lot. I haven't heard about her in a long time, but I hope she's doing better. Nursing school, and the job is very hard. Many people don't make it through nursing school. You can't score less than 80% on tests, not to mention there is a pre-test to even get into nursing school. Yeah, I mean, you have to know all that medical stuff like a doctor, basically, but then you have to have so much more with the bedside manner and just the stamina and the grit. And then you have to deal with the doctors. That's probably the hardest part of the job from what I hear, right? To transport materials and persons from one place to another underground. Yes, exactly. Messages retracted. The glove had male blood. Oh, the glove in Idaho? The one that Mark Furman put there? It was that. I think it was Donahue. Yeah. And I used to watch him, but I was really creeped out by that whole glove Furman thing. I think that's when I quit watching him. Yeah, they got all the DNA. These dang ads messing with my jazz time. Oh, I'm sorry, my dear. Crazy requirements, but the calculations are important. I don't have the brain for RN classes, so CNA research is likely. You have to recognize when something is going wrong. Yeah. Totally. All right. So I think that I have completed the task that I asked you guys to remind me if I hadn't done it yet by the time I got to the end of the comments, which was about the Boring Company. So I was able to take another 2-hour walk today. And that's the best time just to unwind and connect with nature and just kind of zen out. And then these ideas come to me. And I thought, how obvious, like, of course, with like the open seas and the transporting and jizz and space and in the sky, out of jurisdictions, and then with the tunnels, so that we can do all this transporting and all this like Handmaid's Tale eugenics crap. And then I was like, okay, now I can't think it anymore. It's too crazy. It's too crazy. And I don't think it's at all a conspiracy theory. I think that this is something that is happening, and that we would rather stick our head in the sand and pretend it's not happening because it's too effing awful. But I think it's important to not be in denial so that we can fight against it. You know, you have to identify the problem to solve the problem. I think that's just one of the problems. But what was it? The other thing I wanted to say about that, like when, you know, when you have all those, you know, my son's serving in the Navy. When you have all those sailors out on those big, like SS Truman carrier ships, you know, where they have like the landing strip, so they fly the airplanes on and off of them. And you have all those sailors out there at sea. I bet somebody's delivering some mermaids to them. I don't like to think about it, but I mean, come on. That's what I am, a CNA. I started late in the game. Honestly, if I didn't cheat, I wouldn't have passed. Dang it, Nancy. Too funny. Line. You probably have to go to like a testing location to take them online. But you probably have your cell phone with you, which then you can look anything up, right? I don't know. I mean, you still have to know stuff. You still have to know what to look up. Okay. I'm going to wrap up, my precious, lovely folks. I think people would want an educated nurse to be able to know what to do in emergency. You think, Cannabis? Oh, my goodness. I know. I'm so sorry that your profession is under attack. It couldn't be more of a profession. It's that double think, double speak. Like, oh, these professions are no longer professions. Well, how can they be a list of professions if they're not professions? Grr. Right? I know he is a pig. And, you know, I came up with the nickname Mr. Piggy for him a couple of days ago because he earned it. But I like Bigly Pigly. That's perfect because remember, like, that's one of his words that he invented in his word salad. Bigly. Bigly Pigly, man. That's his new name. That's going to stick forever and ever. I don't know that he's going to be around that much longer, though. But I've been saying that for a while, haven't I? I was the first CNA on that test in California gave in 1978. And so the way that Bigly Pigly treated Zoran yesterday in the Oval Office, let's talk about that for a second before we sign off. He did like the shucks thing, and he was blushing, and he was treating Zoran a lot like how he treated MSB with all the flirt stuff. And I guess Zoran is connected to a lot of moolah, which would make a lot of sense. Like, why else would he be blushing and doing the girly thing? But he never has treated JD Vance like that. And I think that's really sad. JD Vance is really sad. Not as sad as Usha Vance, though. My God, these people. I mean, they've made their beds and now they can sleep in them. I just worry that if and when like Amendment 25 is enacted or impeachment is enacted, like we cannot have JD Vance in that position. Like, no, not even, not having it. Sounds like Wiggly Piggly, that old grocery store piggy in love with Zoran. Biggly Piggly. Yeah, like with like the wiggly worm or lowly worm. Or his own fam. Right. Well, they're all scared of him because they know what he did to their mother, and they know that he would have it done to them if he thought they were going to turn on him. In my opinion, Biggly Piggly is like a serial unaliver, that he's had a lot to do with a lot of unalivings, not just Jamal Khashoggi, not just the executives on the helicopter in 1989, the Taj Mahal Trump Tower executives, not just like that Jessica Aber. Jessica Aber is the one who passed away in her sleep. She was the attorney of the like Eastern District of Virginia, the same position that Lindsay Halligan is in. So Jessica Aber resigned from that position with the inauguration, which is typical when she was appointed by Biden, and then she resigned, and then she mysteriously dies in her sleep a couple of months later when Biggly Piggly and the Big E and all of them are there at the place in Jersey where Ivana's buried, Bedminster, the big golf course that Biggly Piggly owns there. So they're all at that big dinner event where Elon was balancing the silverware on his finger for an hour, impressing us all. And Jessica Aber is passing away. And then more recently, they've said, oh, that was a self-unaliving. And it's not that she would have been in that position, but she would have had an eye on what was going on in that position. And she knew people, like all the people that she worked with were still there. But she was an expert in cryptocurrency, in SMEX transporting, in money laundering and corruption. Like those were her specialities. Hey, baby, come here. Come here. All right, I am going to sign off for real this time. It's been lovely talking with you guys. I hope to be able to come on tomorrow too, because I need you guys to process all this effing information. But like, don't you just wonder, like, oh no, what's Biggly Piggly gonna do overnight? What's Biggly Piggly gonna do tomorrow? Like, can he just quit being such a terrorist? Like I was saying, I think that he's a serial unaliver. I think he's been behind a lot of these things, like even the explosion, the Tesla explosion at the Trump Tower, and then the other stuff that happened on that same day, like the white pickup truck in New Orleans, and then just all these planes crashing into things. He even brought up, Biggly Piggly even brought up the airplane that crashed over the Potomac River, the Black Hawk chopper and the commercial airline. He brought that up recently. Again, telling on himself. And the list just goes on and on and on. There was somebody else, though, that I was going to mention, like around right when I was talking about the 3 people, the executives, And his brother, his effing brother, who also fell, just like Ivana fell. But then he passed away right after Donnie visited him in the hospital, because he didn't pass away from the fall. He was in really bad shape. But then his brother visited him, and then he expired. Oh, man. But that's not who it was. There was somebody else around all of that. Well, when he was elected on election day, there was like a bunch of Russians. They just started dropping like flies. And online, it's really easy to find the list of like 22 Russians that were dropping like flies around the time of the election. But like at least one of them was on election day. And a lot of the Russians were here in the States, but they were just, falling out of windows and getting in car accidents and shooting themselves while they were busy hanging themselves. I mean, like one of them, it was like a double thing that wasn't possible, kind of like the people that use sharp edge objects on their backs 20 times, and it was a self-unaliving. Oh, man. Piggly Wiggly, old store in the South for cheaper groceries. Did John know Biden was the only president that was not inaugurated at noon? There's something to, he says there. I don't think of any of them are gone too much money and too intelligence. Y'all see Michael Jackson jumping out of the medical examiner's van. Michael and Diane were very close. Diane who? Michael and Diane. Piggy is tweeting right now, LOL. Oh no. Oh no. He's like, blow up the world. I hate everybody. Screw y'all. I got the nuclear code. Funny, not funny. I mean, he's lost his crap, man. And Will Mondami, I can't say his name right, but that was fairly close. Mondami, Momdani, or MSB, will they take him in their loving arms? Momdani, yay, good job. I know it's a tongue twister for me, and then especially with all the wax on my braces, I think I'm losing my crap in a piece. You're cracking me up. Why do you say that, my dear? Sweet dreams. God bless. Yes. Thanks so much for being here, my people. It's just so cool to have our little community. You are the bomb diggity. Don't forget to hit that like button. Share a video of mine with somebody that you think might like it. Turn on your notification bell to ring a ding ding, and make sure that you're still subscribed if you are subscribed. And if you're not, please consider doing so. If you want to consider donating any money, I've got the Venmo, I've got the PayPal, and I've got the Buy Me a Coffee. And all donations are much appreciated. But of course, just watching and hitting the like button are all I really ask of my people. Love you guys. Good night. All senile. They need to make an age gap. Good night. Good night. Thanks again, and take care of yourselves. See you soon.